Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today I'm excited because we are talking about Quiltable and their print at home patterns. These are for anybody who doesn't have a pro stitcher, wants to do a little more, or they want to do a little more free motion, or you're a Pantograph user. This video is for you. If you do have a pro stitcher, you're like, oh, I'm not interested in any of that, watch it anyway. You might get some ideas. You know, I always slide some new things in. But some housekeeping things. First, when we talk about Quiltable, I have a discount code for you. So remember, ASF10 will save you an additional 10% off your purchase, and the code is ASF, like Adam So Fun 10, to save that additional 10% off purchase. Also, please go down and like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop, so you get to see everything that this crazy guy does. I try to release a video every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. But let's jump into it and talk about these printable designs available at Quiltable. If you're a fan of the channel, you know I love Quiltable. All things Quiltable. I buy their designs. Basically, I just send them my paycheck every month. I love the things they're coming out with. And they're so different than a lot of the other clubs and designs you find at some of the other websites. If you go to their search, if you drop down, or they have a drop down, one of the search options is print at home, and it's all the designs that are print at home. Rumor has it, I'm pretty sure my source is credible, but rumor has it they're going to start a print at home club for those of you who just don't have Pro Stitcher. And what these print at home designs are designs. Here, I'll use this one. This one's called Fireplace. This is a print at home pantograph that I'm going to be using in my next design. So it prints out, you have all the pages, we're going to tape them together in our case. One of the things I like about this, and not a normal pantograph, it is just a stack of paper. I am going to get finished with this. I'm going to hole punch it, because usually a pantograph comes on a roll, right? So we're thinking something like this. Which this is not really that hard to store, let's be honest. You can store this pretty easily. But when you open something that's rolled up, let's see if this will do it. This is Golden Threads paper. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But when you open something that's rolled up, it wants to curl. Or it wants to curl the other way, and you have to put something on top to hold it down. It's just kind of a nightmare. I don't know. I guess nightmare might be a stronger word. But with the Quiltable Print at Home designs, because we're just taping them together, we don't have to fight with anything. I mean, it literally is gonna lay like that, and we're gonna put a piece of tape. And we're gonna be able to make this as big as we want it or as small as we want it. So if you have a 14-foot frame, you have a design. If you have a 12-foot frame, you have a design. An 8-foot frame, you have a design. 5-foot frame, you have your design. You don't have to print out all the pages. But there's some other great things about it. So what happens when you buy a design and you do the print at home? So this is a block design. I can't remember what I called. I said, I want this one. This is sketch to block number 4. So when I printed this out, you always get your 4 cover pages. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so these are going to be info pages. Again, you don't get info pages with regular pantographs or a stencil or anything like that. You usually just get the product. So this is a little bit of info about it. And then you'll get the pages that you actually put together. We'll talk about these in a minute. I got to keep everything organized. Weirdly, you can see around me, I am someone who works in controlled chaos, but when I have papers, I mean, they have to be stacked, laid crisp. The only thing in my life that does that. There's my OCD. So page 1, this tells you this is your page 1. What's on page 2? It has directions and references. Page 3 talks about quilting on your home sewing machine. On page 3 and 4, and then let's see. All the pages after 4 are the design. And then print this out, tape together, yada, yada, yada. It shows you just different icons. There's a video. Quiltable actually has a YouTube channel, and they have videos embedded at Quiltable. So if you're not searching, if you're not looking at those, watch those, especially if you're going to use some of these. They have a lot of great information. Jen makes those, and she is fabulous. She's fun like I am. We might be a little scatterbrained, but hey, 'tis life, right? So this is your page 2 is your Pantograph prep. So it's quilting on the long arm. If you want to do the Pantograph route, which we'll do on the fireplace. Then page 3 is quilting with your sewing machine. Tells you some supplies, shows you how to put it together, and it talks about how to make a stencil. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then page 3 continues. Let's see. Oh, page 3 talks about just sewing it right on your, basting it onto your machine, and then just sewing it or making the stencil. The awesome thing, this is page 4. You have a place for notes, but the awesome thing is you also have this little strip. So say you are using it as a pantograph and you want to roll it up and store it. You have the strip that tells you what it is, how big it is, and all of that information. The one thing I like about this is if you tape it, you don't really have to roll it up. You can just kind of fan fold it and stick it back in a 3-ring binder. That's what I'm going to do, just because, again, I like them to lay flat. So once you roll it up, you're going to have that roll. But I do have this page, so I can just put a little tab on that on this page, showing if I open to that tab, it shows me what it is. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a big fan of this. I think this is awesome, and there, like I said, there's a lot of you out there who don't have Pro Stitcher yet. So when you need to do something, you're going to do it there. So let's talk about this. So this is my sketch block 4. It comes in 4 pieces. All the blocks are going to stitch out. I'm a quilter, right? Are going to print out in 4 pieces. I'm just going to line my edges up. I got some of the magic Scotch tape, because I think this is the one. I think the green Scotch tape is the one that could come off if I want it to. And I'm just going to tape it together. Not anything fancy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep that in mind. This block is designed. The pages are numbered up top. So, and they're numbered very big, which I like. So you're not like searching for it. I was going to say something else. Oh, you don't have to be perfect. We're going to make a stencil, and the likelihood of anybody, including myself, staying right on top of that line is probably not very high. So, and I'm doing 2 pieces of tape per line. You can do 1 piece of tape, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. Now, I printed this out on just regular paper. I actually had to go to Staples to print it out because we don't have a printer here. Long story. But I could take this to my machine and stitch right on it. If I were going to do that, like if I wanted to use this kind of like a paper piecing paper where you stitch right on the lines and then pull out the paper later or rip off the paper later, I'm not going to use regular printer paper. You can buy reams of, I guess it's not a ream, but you can buy newsprint or the paper that we use for paper piecing, and that you can run through a printer. So I would print onto those. I wouldn't print all, I wouldn't print all 8 pages. I'd print the first 4, the instruction pages on regular paper, but you can print these 4 onto your newsprint or whatever you're using. Remember, it's single use because you're going to stitch on it and then you're going to rip it off. So you're going to have to do multiple of these. But I'll show you another option in a second. So here's my finished piece. Here's my block. It's a bunch of swirls. You know I love swirls. And they swirl around in the center. I'm going to actually do this on my long arm. I'm not going to do it on my domestic. But I am going to do it on my long arm, and I'm going to turn this into a stencil. So if I wanted to turn this into a stencil, I have a few options. The first option, I don't want things to blow away. The first option is to just take this to my domestic machine, stitch it, and I'll take some, here's a picture of what this looks like. The first option is to take this to my domestic machine, take the thread out of the needle, and follow the lines and puncture it as I go. So it does have a start point. There's a little green X. So go whichever way is more comfortable for you. And I would just follow the lines on my machine and stitch as I go, working my way all the way around. It's paper, so it's a little pretty pliable if you kind of roll it the right way. Be careful, it's not fabric, so you can't just like, because you'll rip it. The second way, and the way I usually do it, just because I really like this stuff, this is Golden Threads paper. This is what it looks like when it's not opened. This is a different size roll, but it's quilting paper by Golden Threads. Everybody calls it Golden Threads paper. It comes in 3 sizes, 24, 18, and 12. I really like the 12, but I think I use 18 a little bit more just because it works for me a little bit more. So if I wanted to make a stencil here, I'm going to open my Golden Threads, if I can get to the end. This is going to be laid on top. And I will insert a picture of what this looks like at this step. So I'm going to insert it on top. Then I just get my pencil or whatever. I usually plop something on the sides, especially if you have a fan on. This is kind of lightweight pattern paper. But now I'm going to come in, I'm just going to trace the lines with a pencil. And then when this is traced through the magic of YouTube, you'll have this on your Golden Threads. And I'm going to lay this here. And I was like, wait, I have to get it lined back up. So this is traced, and now it's back on where it came from, I think, ish. I will post a photo, what it looks like when it's laying down. But then when you're done, you have the pattern, you've recreated the pattern. So now I have this, and this is what I'm gonna make my stencil out of. Because this Golden Threads paper, it's pretty durable. I use this in my classes when I teach for my long arm quilting classes. I fold it up and stick it into a Ziploc bag, and it's traveled around the nation with me. It has held up. So if it can hold up with that, it can hold up with some stencil and some use. Remember, when you make these, you want to stitch from the opposite side. Is that right? Yes, you do. So you are going to want to create it, trace it, whatever. And when you stitch it on your machine, I'm going to flip it over and stitch it from the opposite side, because we want to pounce this and we need those puncture holes up. So I'm flipping it upside down and stitching around. If you did it, that's fine. It will work both ways, but when you're using a pounce pad, it works better with those puncture marks up. So same thing here. If your paper is thin enough, you can trace from the stitch from the opposite side. This is pretty thick paper that they use as staples. I could trace the outlines on the back, whatever. I mean, ultimately, it's your decision, your block, your quilt. The one thing I did want to mention, so this block is 12 inches. I actually, I lost one. Oh, there it is. Talk about things that like to roll back up, right? So this is the same stencil that I did here on the 18-inch, but on the 12-inch. And what I wasn't a big fan of is it's a 12-inch block, so it truly does go all the way out to the top and bottom edges of this Golden Threads paper. So think about that, if you're doing a 10-inch block, the 12-inch is going to be fine. If you're doing a 12-inch block, I can't pounce this because I'm just going to get a ton of chalk on the outside or onto my quilt. Because if I rub my pounce to get over this last piece, it's also just a thick piece that's going to get on the quilt. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. So these are the Qulitable Print at Homes. Again, I'm super excited. If you don't, go sign up for the newsletter. Check out the blog. If the rumors are true, and if they are going to start a print at home, you're going to hear about it there. So go sign up for the newsletter and the blog. If you haven't seen the Quiltable blog just in general, lots of great information. Jen is really good about showing how to use different designs. She will get questions on Facebook, and then she goes and will message me and say, do you have time to make a video for this? And I usually say, I'm on the road, and then she makes it 3 minutes later. She's really good. Another person who's really dedicated to education and everything. So that's that one. I'm going to talk about the Panto really quick. In the Pantos case, we're not going to be making a stencil. We can just print it together. But there were some things that they did on these Pantos that I was so excited about because I had never seen them done before. Usually when you open a Pantograph, you open it up, you have your design, and you have the dashed or the lighter design top and bottom. And that's how you nest things because it's already created to nest at a certain point, and that's how when you advance you can nest. What Quiltable has done, I wonder if there's one. This has it. So what Quiltable has done is they've given you the design, and you'll see some blue lines. I don't know if you can see it. Well, a few things. One, this is page 1, and we're going to start here because that's where the green line is to start. So this blue line represents the repeat of this pattern. This is just 2 flames. I think it's going to look good on the fabric or on the quilt that I'm going to be making. So the blue line is the repeat. They've added these red lines that are the top and the bottom of the design. So when you're advancing this with your laser light, it's going to be so easy to line things up perfectly because you have that red line. You can see the top and bottom. When you're advancing it, you have that red line, so you have that representation of where things are going to line up. I don't know. I just think that's super awesome. They also have arrows. So as you stitch through, there's arrows showing you the direction you're supposed to be stitching. So when you put these together, I need to put number 2 where number 2 goes. When you tape these together, those arrows continue and you get the perfect row. 1, you can line these up so you know that they're laying perfectly straight. It's not going to be hard. You're just lining things up and putting a piece of tape. It's not going to fold up on you. It's going to be easily managed, mischief managed. But you also know directions. Anytime there is crossovers, they've marked a crossover, so you know, like, oh, this is a crossover, this is where I need to go. I don't know, I think they've just come from this, from a different view, from a, I'm new to quilting, this might be my first Pantograph, what do I do? And so there's great info right printed on the paper. You do get all, like I said, you get the first 4 pages. I didn't actually print the first 4 pages for the fireplace Panto because I have them for the other one. But so you get the same instructions. I do need to print out that 3rd page because it has all my my kind of information about the design. But yeah, these are the print at home designs. I'm super excited about this. I think you should check them out. For those of you who are thinking of like, oh, a Panto might be a great way to start. Pantographs are fabulous. They're a great way to start because they help you get the motion of your machine. They kind of bring you and your machine, they make into one. They get you used to moving that machine. They get you used to kind of seeing those paths. I know people who are so good with Pantos, they put them down, and when I say Panto, I mean Pantograph. They'll put them down, they don't even trace them. They could free motion that design because they've done it so many times. So get a few designs and think like, oh, these are ones that I really like. I can get used to doing them, and then later on, they're my go-to. I won't even need to use that anymore. It just helps with that free motion. You do need the quilt from the back kit on any of your machines, or you'll need back handlebars because you're driving this from the back. Again, next week or the week after, I am actually quilting the quilt that's loaded here. I pieced it together, just a simple strip quilt, but I thought that that flame design would look really good on it. So I'm going to be doing that so you can kind of see how Pantos work. I'm going to be using Taco too, but I don't know. That's the quilt at home. I will be using this. I'm going to make a stencil. We're going to use it in a block so you can see that. And I just didn't want the video to be an hour because really I want you to just go check these out. I mean, it's such a great idea, easy. And now that I've made my stencil, I'm going to take off my magic tape. Oh, it didn't rip. Not as bad as I thought. And so I'm going to take off this tape, put it together, and again, 3-ring binder, I can have all my designs there. So thanks for watching. Remember to follow me on social media, Adam's So Fun with the SEW on Facebook and Instagram, where you see more content that doesn't hit the YouTube channel. I do weekly lives there, or I try to do weekly lives there. Just tons of fun. Join the So Fun community, SEWFUN community on Facebook, where we're together, people post pictures, we just praise. It's all about positivity in 2022. We got to keep everybody's spirits up. Oh, and don't forget, Adam's So Fun has a discount code at Quiltable. ASF10 will save you an additional 10% off your purchase. So go, have fun, save some money, and we will see you all in the next video, because at the end of the day, it's just quilting. Thanks, everyone.